Tēnā koutou katoa, kia ora and welcome to another Manawanui live stream. My name is Simon and today we have a very topical topic, if you would call it that, very relevant to the time of the year, and that is because we are very fast approaching the end of the year. Some would call the silly season, Christmas time and New Year, and that means it's a good time for all of you who have your own staff to acknowledge them for their hard work and the value that they provide to you, because Manawanui and other IF hosts, as well as DSS, all acknowledge that the support workers in your lives provide you with a huge amount of value, and if they were working for another organization or had another job, it is quite commonplace for staff to get recognized come Christmas time with some form of gift, maybe a bonus, and even a small Christmas party or get together or some sort of work function. So what I'm going to cover off today is the guidance that has been agreed upon with all of the IF hosts alongside DSS. You may have heard me talk about it previously, but there are regular meetings with all the IF hosts and representatives from MSD within the DSS team. And what they do is they regularly catch up to ensure that all of the IF hosts are providing a consistent application of the purchasing guidelines, but also that, just their service as an IF host is consistent, to ensure that people aren't getting discriminated based on their IF host choice. So from that meeting, there has been some guidance agreed upon, and so we're going to cover three topics. The first one will be cash bonuses. The second one will be Christmas gifts or end of year gifts. And then the third one will be a work-related function. So if you've seen the caption on this post, these are only for DSS funded customers only. If you have funding from your DHB or Te Whatu Ora, or you have MSD VHN funding, this does not apply, and we've received advice that these costs could not be claimed. So the first topic will be bonuses. If you want to acknowledge your staff with a cash bonus as a thank you for a year of hard and valuable work, you can do so. You could either increase their hourly rate if it's come up to their working anniversary, but some people prefer to put in a cash bonus. And it is important to remember that any cash bonus that you give is taxed. So if you put through a bonus amount, a part of that amount goes to inland revenue before it is passed on to your staff member. The guidance that is acceptable is that it cannot be more than 1 week's worth of wages. So you would calculate how much they earn in 1 week based on their regular hours or what their average working week looks like. And then that would be the maximum amount you could put on their timesheet as a bonus. If you're with Manawanui and you are completing your employee's timesheet under the section of expenses, you would choose the expense type bonus, and you would put in the amount that you want to pay them, and then that would be added to their wages that gets paid out at the end of that fortnight. If you have any questions around paying staff bonuses and you want help calculating what the maximum amount would be, our payments or our customer experience team can help you with that. So if you would like advice around those amounts, you can absolutely send us an email or get on the phone, and we will clarify that for you. Yeah, so that's bonuses. If you have any questions, of course, if you're watching this, and you have any questions around these topics, please don't be shy. I'm happy to cover them off. The second one is gifts. So you may want to acknowledge your staff at the end of the year with a Christmas gift, and that is okay with your funding, but it needs to be reasonable and cost effective. As always, all purchases and expenditure from your IF need to meet that criteria. And there are some considerations around Inland Revenue's treatment of gifts for staff. So if you were to purchase a gift with the value that exceeds $300, so if you spend more than $300 on a particular item, or a selection of items or gift cards that total more than $300, the Inland Revenue would consider that as a fringe benefit, and they would need to you would need to pay tax on it, right? So there's fringe benefit tax, and that's around employers who supplement their staff remuneration or their pay with non-cash items to try and circumvent paying income tax. So they would then, give their staff other gifts. So to avoid being paid fringe benefit tax, any purchase that you make for your employees needs to be under that $300 threshold. There's also some further guidance around gifts, is that your employees must have been employed for at least 12 months. So these employees obviously need to have been with you for some time, and can actually, it can actually be justified that they have given you enough effort to justify that it is worth getting them a Christmas gift. Nothing related to alcohol or gambling, or cigarettes or anything like that. The same rules around purchases apply. What else is there? So yeah, when we're talking about gifts, it can be an actual physical gift, whether that's some flowers, chocolates, maybe some item of clothing, whatever it is that you think would make a really nice gift for your staff. But of course, must stay under that threshold of money. Or it can be actual gift cards, or a Prezi card. So those are your options for acknowledging and celebrating your staff. Yeah, cool. So if you've got any questions around gifts, please, sing out. Got plenty of time to go through it all. And then the final part of the end of year cost is a work event or function, Christmas party, whatever you want to call it. It is a work-related event that is for the purpose of getting together with your staff and celebrating the year that's been, acknowledging them for their hard work and value. A lot of the time it might be engaging in some sort of team building activity. It might just be a nice dinner or lunch. And DSS and the IF host have agreed that that is a reasonable cost to come from your funding. However, you do need to ensure that it isn't unreasonable for the amount per person. So you want to make sure that what we call cost per head or cost per employee is reasonable. So anything below $80 per person is reasonable, and that would that cost would cover everything from the food and drink and any entertainment included. So if you went bowling, for example, and you paid for some pizzas and soft drink for your staff, as long as all of those costs combined were less than $80 per person, then that is okay. but it needs to be incredibly clear when you are claiming for those costs that it is for that purpose. So the bowling one is a good example because all of the bowling costs, food and drink, would be on one receipt, and you could quite clearly see the total cost. And in the description you would put staff end of year function, and you would list the number of employees that were included, and a description of the costs, and then that would be okay as long as it met that guideline. So no alcohol at all can be claimed from the funding for those. And if you are going to that event as the agent and you're bringing the funded person or the client, any food or drink or entertainment costs are not covered. It is only for your staff. Just making sure I've not missed any important info. So yeah, just to remind you that this information was agreed upon amongst the IF hosts. It's not specific guidance that's in writing from DSS. This is the IF hosts doing our best to ensure a consistent application of the guidelines. So if you have any concerns or questions around the information that I've shared and you're with Manawanui, then please contact us directly and we're happy to walk you through it. But yeah, this live stream and this information is to share it with you ahead of time so that you know what you can use your funding for and plan accordingly with some time ahead. The other thing, I guess, since we're talking about the end of year costs or responsibility as an employer, it's good to think about whether you're going to have any changes to your staff roster over the Christmas break. If you've got family coming around and you don't need your employees as much as you normally do, and you're going to have a change to the hours, if they're casual, then obviously that's okay because casual hours can change as and when needed. That's the reason you have casual staff. But if you have permanent part-time employees, by law, they have a fixed schedule of hours or a fixed number of hours at least that they need to work each fortnight. And if they're not going to get those same hours for a fortnight or 2 fortnights, they need to be given notice so that they can either take annual leave or be aware that they're going to have leave without pay. So the notice period, the minimum notice period that you need to give your staff is 14 days, right? Or 10 business days, 2 weeks. And you need to give it to them in writing, whether that's an email or a text message. It needs to be very clear that there is going to be a shutdown period from start date to end date, and we will not need you for those days during that week, those weeks, or a partial shutdown and your hours are going to be reduced for that time unless you wish to use your annual leave. So it's very important that you, if you are in that situation, that you give that notice to your staff. If you are unsure whether you need to provide that notice or not, then the easiest place to get the right information is from the EMA, the Employers and Manufacturers Association. Call up their 0800 number and ask for their advice on what to do in your situation so that there is no confusion at all. That is all I have in terms of information to share. So if there aren't any questions, I may end the live stream early and wish you all a lovely evening. So I'll give it a few seconds. If not, we'll sign off because I don't have anything else to share. But I have just reminded myself, if you are one of the Manawanui customers who is concerned that they haven't been getting the newsletter. That is, it's good to know that you're looking out for it, but we haven't been sending them because there has not been new information to share. I said this last week. I want to make sure that if a newsletter ends up in your inbox, you know that there is valuable information to be read in that email. So if you're wondering where the next newsletter is, it will show up when there is something to share with you. So just know that if it's not in your inbox, you're not missing out. I can guarantee that you will get it when it gets sent out. So just to address any concerns there. Comment from Terry. She says, I rang the Manawanui phone line for help today, and the guy was amazing and very patient with me. I felt really helped. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. That's wonderful feedback. I will make sure that the team on the phones get that feedback from you, Terry, because as we all know, they take many phone calls every single day, and it's not always that they get somebody giving them nice feedback because they may have been dealing with somebody who's not having a great day. So thank you for sharing that. But if there isn't anything else, I think I will bid my farewells early. So apologies, I don't have another 15 minutes of stuff to talk about, but I won't bore you and ramble on any much longer. It's been a pleasure talking to you. For those who've been watching, hopefully the employment related expenses conversation has been valuable. Please feel free to come back and watch this if you want to remind yourself. It will be here or on YouTube as well. All right, have a lovely evening. Thank you very much, and I will see you again here at the same time, same place next week. Ka kite. And we're clear.